And while I was getting the camera off the bike, I did hear some sounds coming from the inside. Oh yeah, that's where the smell's coming from. This says chlorine alarm. There's something rather disturbing. It looks like a... You fall over that, it's game over. Oh, great. Thunder. It went from bad to worse. Today, we're heading to a location that I had plans to film for about the last year or two. It's an abandoned factory, and when I was ready to film it this year, well, things changed because it was set ablaze by an arsonist. Although it is sealed up and boarded up and posted, we can't go inside. We can still go around the perimeter of the property and check it out and maybe get a glimpse as to what is still existing today. There's also a closed road. It's been closed to vehicle traffic for a number of years, maybe even a few decades, and it's still accessible, especially on e-bike. So I'm curious to see where it goes, what we might see along the way, and if you continue watching to the end of this video, I do have a bonus location for you that I've been meaning to show you for quite some time. So if you'd like to join me, all you need to do is come along with me. I'm also filming things a bit differently than I normally do. I usually use my DJI Pocket 3, but today I'm trying something new, which I'm gonna ask for your feedback on. That's my new 360 camera, which I have mounted on the handlebars. And the thing I like about it is that I can have it sitting here the entire time, and I can control what I want to show during editing. So for example, right now you're looking at me, but if I want to have you look in this direction, you could do that. If I want to have you face around to the front, or even to the other side, you can do that as well. So it should make touring this facility a bit easier because I can have the camera facing me whenever I want to, out front, off to the side, and I can also detach it really easily as well. It should make things easier for me because I don't have to use any hands to hold the camera. The camera just does everything by itself. And also the audio is going to sound a bit different than usual because I'm not using a mic setup. It's just the onboard microphone of the Insta360 X5. But we are here at location. I could tell you just a couple things about it. Is that it's shut down roughly 4 to 5 years ago. I think it was announced towards the end of 2020 that this place was closing down. I think they were just not doing enough profit here, or the equipment was outdated. I don't know the true reasons. I just heard speculation, but this was known as Cascade Tissue. They made paper products, obviously. So it closed around 2020, give or take a few months. And it's been sitting vacant, abandoned, basically untouched all that time until April of this year, 2025, when someone did come here and deliberately, intentionally start a fire. And I can see the building up here that was torched already. So it is heavily posted, the buildings themselves, but we can still ride around the property, check it out. Reading and Northern Railroad's tracks do come through here as well. And I'll just get a look at it today, see if we could make heads or tails as to what we're looking at. I do have a building right here though, so we're going to start right here. We'll maybe go around the back side of this, and even if there are any doors open, we're not going to go inside since it is posted. Obviously that's kind of against my rule, but we could maybe get a glimpse through the door or through a window if it's open. This is like a type of warehouse building right here. It's got some doors on the back of it. Can't make it all the way around. Have a propane filling station here for forklift cylinders. We'll get back out to the main part here. And if you look on the ground, there's 2 sets of tracks. This facility was serviced by rail. So on the left-hand side up here, there is a bump stop for just placing a car there. But the tracks on the right, I think, went all the way into the building, yeah. So rail cars were brought inside this door right here. Now those lines would have came off of this main line here, which again is Reading and Northern. There used to be a crossing here, which is covered up with trash bags because it's no longer an operable crossing. The road does not go through here anymore. It is basically barricaded and they do have some stone or ballast there. Let's stick to the left side for now. The right side has the burned building and most of the buildings. You see a catwalk for piping going across ahead of us here. So we're just going to take a slow, leisurely ride through, just point out a few things as we do come upon them. If you are familiar with this company and you're able to share like what specific products they made, feel free to tell us in the comments. Or if you're aware of the buildings that we're looking at as to what was housed inside them, feel free to do the same. But there are still operating Cascade tissue factories in business, in operation. This was just one of their facilities and is shut down for specific reasons I don't know of. I just heard of outdated equipment or not being marketable or profitable in this location here. Now there is a crossing up here that still has the lights there, and over here is the back side of that first building. So you see a ramp going down for a loading dock there, and now we have a building up on top here. We can head up there. And I don't know if there's any cameras watching this place, any motion detectors. I don't know anything. I've only came by this location once when I was actually catching Reading Northern's 2102. I've been down here, and we do have an open window, so let's see if we could take a peer inside. I do see cobwebs blocking it. Let me stick you guys in there, and then I could actually rotate the camera around during editing, and you can see what it looks like. So just so you can see, I am holding the camera through the window here, and I'll just slowly pan around so you can see what it looks like. Not a whole lot, pretty empty. Do see some tanks in there, pallet or two, borax on the ground. A lot of broken windows too. That's gonna be the great thing about this camera, is that I can stick it through different areas and not have to worry about getting just a fixed view. I can just stick the camera in there, don't have to rotate it, do anything special. I do everything during editing, so that's one of the upsides of me using this camera today. It's not gonna replace my Pocket 3, which has excellent video quality, especially with the blurred background. This is just a wide angle field of view, but allows you the flexibility of not having to keep positioning or mounting the camera in different areas to get different fields of view. I could just let it roll and actually have you guys mounted right there on that little clamp system, which was working out pretty well so far. So again, feedback, let me know if you do like this type of look and this type of adventure for e-bike riding, exploring places like this with having the camera set up here. Let me know. The other alternative is I could obviously wear it on myself when I do like bike reviews or rail trails. I sometimes have the camera mounted on my chest here, which gives you like a first person point of view, as if you're sitting on the bike yourself riding it. So I'm looking forward to your feedback. Let me know. And again, this is more just an experiment and to check out some things here that I have always been wanting to check out. Missed my opportunity, missed my window, but at least we're able to see what's existing today. But let's continue on with our tour. These tracks are used, I think, daily, if not several times a week. So it looks like over here, the big green sliding door opens up like a big barn door. There's an opening up there on top. And everything else is pretty much secured. But we'll see if we give you some more glimpses on the inside. I don't know when this property was built or when it opened, but I know it has been here for a few decades. Then we have a ramp going up towards the building for a bay door. This would lead right into the building to be able to drive right into it. So far I don't hear any alarms going off or anything, so I think we're okay as far as motion detection, unless security or police show up later, then we're on camera. But again, we're not going to try to make entry, just ride around the exterior. So a lot of bay doors, loading docks over here. We got something in the far back. I think we should head back there, and then we can head to the other side of the building. So I'll see you back there. So on the left-hand side here, there's some big tanks just laying there. Looks like they're maybe fiberglass. And we have a garage here. It's open. Pallets. Looks like more remnants of tanks. Looks like people have even maybe been into the electrical box here. There's actually a nest in there too. I did hear a rooster in the background. Not sure where that came from. Now this actually reminds me of like a water treatment plant or a sewer authority back here. There's a large tank. Yeah, let me give you a better view. You could maybe make heads or tails as to what this is. Yeah, there's a tank here, partially full of water. There's a catwalk going out over it. Numerous little buildings. Looks like another tank over there on the other side of that wall. The building there with the open door and maybe more tanks over there. I don't know what this is. If this is part of the same facility and factory or this its own separate entity. But it does remind me of like sewer authority or water treatment, which I think is the same thing if I'm not mistaken. But you can tell the water level comes up pretty close to the top of the wall here. You can see the water line, the stain. So, although that door is open, Jesus, that scared the crap out of me. 2 frogs, I think, just leaped in and they screeched when they did it. They always seem to get me. Although it's not posted right here, it is barricaded off. I mean, honestly, we could walk back there, but I'm not really too focused on that. I don't necessarily want to go in the building either. So, just wanted to show you what's back here. Just so you know, as far as proximity, on the other side over there is the Susquehanna River. So we're kind of paralleling that. And here's looking back towards the main factory. So we'll head back over there on the far left side now. Looks like maybe a trash compactor here. And like usual, it is another hot, humid day here in Pennsylvania. What time is it? It is approximately 12:30 and it's in the upper 80s. Humidity super high. I'm sweating just sitting here on the bike talking to you guys. It has not been the best summer conditions so far. It also rained like buckets last night. It rained all night, heavy. There's a lot of ponding, a lot of washed out areas, so we're gonna have to contend with that later on that closed road we're gonna be exploring. But it's just, the humidity is just ridiculous. So not great so far, but we're just making do with what we can. Can't control Mother Nature, we can only kind of cooperate with her. So now coming around the back side of the building, this is paved. It's obviously being overgrown. For the most part, pretty featureless. There's a bell there that says Rockwood, Worcester? I think it's Worcester. Looks like a fire alarm maybe. Probably something to do with this right here. And these are actually railroad tracks. Are they? Yeah, they look like railroad tracks. Those beams there for little protection barriers. See some rodent traps. Caution, speed bump. There's a tank out here. This is diesel generator fuel, so they had an on-site generator. Windows are open up on top there, but obviously we can't get that far up there. Little building on the left here, it's closed up. Manway on the right. Looks like something was mounted here. You can see the outline of the coloration of the brick where it was painted around it. So something was there at one time. And now we have some large stainless steel tanks. It says number 6 fuel oil tanks. Maybe for machinery or equipment? Yeah, I think we can maybe peek around this area here. Looks like there's a few different things going on, so we'll take a brief walk around. I did notice something here. There's a, looks like a manhole cover, but it's a grate. But, echo! Yeah, it's a pit, and as far as I could tell, there's water down there. Let me see if I could shine the flashlight a little bit. Yeah, I mean, all I see is just a reflection, so it's pretty full of water, but the water is about 10 feet down there, so it's fairly deep. And while I was getting the camera off the bike, I did hear some sounds coming from the inside. I do see an open door there. I don't know if it's animals or just things shifting or someone inside. So we're just gonna proceed cautiously, but again, we're not going in. We're just gonna observe the best we can. But these tanks are pretty big here. You can see some ladders going up to the top and like a chute or something up there. Here's more remnants of train tracks being used here. It's kind of filled in with concrete, but that is an actual rail. Fire hydrant right there. These ones say number 5. There may have been another tank here one time, or multiple tanks, but those ones are labeled as number 6. I don't know, is this for water, for fire, or is this for these tanks? That I don't know. I just have to be cautious of snakes as well here. There's a hatch right here. Looks like it's covering something. Now this door is open too. I think it's the same room. So there's different pipes, different openings. Looks like almost like duct work for HVAC, but it's not. But there's all different lines going everywhere. It says condensate return. That smaller pipe going that way. Oh, I actually feel cooler air as well. And I smell, oh, let's see, mold or musty. There's a big cobweb here right in front of us. I'm just going to give you a quick look. Okay, so that's shifting that I hear. Okay, so this is like a pump room. It's all different pipes in here. It says handling system capacity 1500. Different valves. There's an electrical board over there. But this doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's just its own empty room. And it's like almost like a gantry crane. But we do have an opening here. Oh yeah, that's where the smell's coming from. This says chlorine alarm. Do not enter number 4 p.m. basement when strobe is flashing. Notify appropriate personnel. There's a lot of cold air coming from here and a really bad stench. But since I do have you guys on an extendable stick, I could give you a look on the inside here. So let's do that. Yeah, I'm standing here at the doorway. Looks like it goes down. It's pretty damp in there. This is probably contributing for the smell. See, like maybe some sandbags, some pipes. There's an opening there to the right. Control box is right here on the right hand side. I hear dripping water. I think maybe steps right here. I know it's not the best video quality because you're used to my Pocket 3, which does extremely well in dark conditions like that. So that's one of the downfalls, although this does do well for a 360 camera in low light. It doesn't compare to the full 1-inch sensor in the Pocket 3, so I maybe should have brought both cameras. I didn't think about it actually. I didn't know it was going to be areas like that, but we'll make do. Let's continue on though. It's a pretty large facility. It's like one large building on this side, but it's broken up into different sections. And it looks like would have been a manway there, up there, bigger doors over here. Looks like maybe a forklift would have came through here. There's these big buffers or bumpers on it for being able to push it without damaging it. That's what it looks like anyways. Up here on the right is obviously where the fire took place. This, I believe, was probably more like the office part of the building. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if you could probably gain entry to the rest of the buildings going through here, but being fire damaged, the structural integrity is compromised, so it wouldn't be really a smart idea. And on top of that, it's still posted. That's the closed crossing there. It says, caution, rail cars passing at a high rate of speed daily. Yeah, this looks like more of like the business end of it, where it would have been like offices, meeting rooms. Like the main entry was right there. I don't know why the person torched it. I don't know if they had any connection to being here as an employee or what the reason was, but they were caught, they were arrested. Oh, so here we could actually see filing cabinet there. It's like the fire hit it pretty good. There's not really a whole lot left of it. Like I said, I missed my window of opportunity. I had plans on coming this year, and earlier this year, someone beat me to it and ruined it. Obviously, with the attention this received from the fire, it's not any surprise at all that's posted and probably watched. Some old cameras up there too. And an old torn American flag still hanging right here. Well, I believe that concludes our tour of Cascade Tissue. A place that's been sitting empty and abandoned for 4 years and was subjected to fire just a few months ago. This is only one of a few stops today. Where we're going now is in that direction. There's a road down here which I stumbled upon accidentally not too long ago. I believe at one time it was a road open to the public, but it's closed to vehicle access. It's not posted, but you can't drive vehicles on it. I believe there's a gate, but you can either walk or bike on it. And I think it follows the tracks, follows the river for quite a few miles, and will possibly take us out to another town from what I glanced at on Google Maps. Might go by some farmland as well. May even not be accessible the whole entire way. I'm not really sure. But along the way though, we're just gonna take it slow and easy, check out the surroundings, see if we do find anything of interest that may be hiding back there. And at the very least, we'll see where it brings us out to. But don't forget, I have one other location to show you on our way out of here that, since we got all that rain last night, it's flowing pretty good. And I think you guys will enjoy seeing it. Welcome to what I'm calling an off-limits road. Off-limits to vehicles, but not us, because there's nothing saying we can't be back here. You can tell it's an old paved road too. It hasn't been maintained for a long time. There's actually a guardrail on our left-hand side. So I don't know the true use or reason this road was built, whether it was just like an access road or a detour route. But regardless, we're not the first ones to be back here. It is ridden by, looks like probably ATVs, dirt bikes. Locals probably come walking, biking back here as well. And I'm sure we're gonna come across plenty of water hazards with all the rain we got last night. So we are gonna be taking it relatively slow and easy, which is gonna be good for us because it'll give us a better chance to spot anything that may be hiding in plain sight. And I'm loving that it's shady back here. It feels at least 10 degrees cooler. And if you can't tell, we're on an embankment. So to the right of us, it's going upwards. To the left, it's going down. And there's a lot of bugs back here, even though I sprayed. Still flying around me here. It's broken pavement. Guardrail's still holding up pretty well. It looks like maybe pavement is ending here. Big rock feature off to our right. It's about a 20-foot wall right there. And now we're descending down low enough they're almost level with the tracks. This is pretty nice. Pretty easy to navigate so far. You know, if I didn't know any better, I would say this is like an old rail line, but I don't believe it is. I think it was an actual road. But it has that look and feel to it since we're paralleling R&N on the left, and we got like a rock cut on the right-hand side. That rock face is a bit taller now, about 25 feet tall maybe. And all the thick vegetation, it's kind of enclosing in on the trail. I could imagine this could probably give like a claustrophobic feel to some people. Oh, we got a telegraph pole right here. No insulators on it, but that's for the railroad right there. Definitely more damp and saturated back here. I'm sliding around a little bit. I'm going nice and slow in dual motor just so I have ultimate traction. But I'm only going like 7-8 miles an hour. Also, I've ridden through, I think I lost count of how many spider webs going across the trail that I've ridden right through and got them caught in my face. We got some material here. It looks like it washed down. Yeah, it's just coming off the spider web coming off the ledge right up there. It's a big pile of it too. Yeah, so there's definitely a ledge up there where it goes up about 10, maybe 15 feet, plateaus, and then there's another section above it, and it's going up at a really steep grade as well. I think I heard like a toad or a frog. Yeah. He's over there somewhere. Now I'm looking, I don't see... No, I'm incorrect. I was going to say, I don't see any drill markings. There's definitely drill markings. This rock was drilled and blasted. Maybe back in the day, this could have been maybe a double line for the current Reading and Northern. And then later just turned to a road. Or maybe this road was created just to access the tracks. I'm just trying to think of possible situations or scenarios this would be here. I mean, I can see why it's closed to vehicles, but go somewhere, so that's what we're going to find out today. Yeah, there are some nice rock features here. 100% drilled and blasted. There's drill markings everywhere. Even if I come like right up here, straight ahead of us, all those clear straight lines, those are all drill markings. Up here is just like a dark tunnel. I mean, it's not a tunnel per se, but nature created one. It's a nice area here. Nice and shady. Nice and cleared out and wide. And if you stop and listen, it's fairly quiet as well. Maybe we'll get lucky, have a train pass us too. Going this direction that we're heading, the tracks will take you to Tunkhannock. Yeah, there might be a train coming. I couldn't have predicted that any better if I tried. There is a train coming. Distinct sound, unmistakable. What can I say? Sometimes I'm just good. I just happened to notice there's actually daylight coming through on the other side here. And since I have you guys on the extendable stick, I should be able to extend you out and give you a up close and personal look in there, since I can't fit in there. Let me know how it looks. It's pretty wet and damp for what I could tell. I do have a 10-foot pole. If I had that, I'd be able to stick you all the way through. It was actually a spider right here. Look at that guy. Just hanging out. Oh, I do see a couple insulators. Insulator tree still has a few blooms. There's a clear one and a blue greenish teal one. And we have another natural tunnel system up here provided by nature. I'm definitely glad I'm going slow, because if I was flying, not only would I have a higher chance of spinning out, but I'd be getting caked in mud. We got a water hazard. We're just gonna go through it nice and easy. Keep your feet up. And the tracks are literally 10 feet away from me on the left. So I mean, the winter time when this foliage is down, if you wanted to do some train spotting or watching, this wouldn't be a horrible place to do it. I am covered in so many spider webs. They're on the phone, they're on the mirrors. But interestingly enough, the trail or road that we're following changed. We're back to a guardrail. We're back to old macadam pavement. So we may be closing in on the other end of it. Telegraph pole on the left has a tire hanging from it. A few tires actually. There's 3 tires hanging and 1 laying on it. And a bunch of them on the ground. Much different terrain back here. It doesn't feel so enclosed. We're actually pretty wide here. Tracks are farther away now, off to the left about maybe 40 feet away. Guardrail's still here. We're still on broken macadam. The embankment off to our right is still there, just not as steep. There's no more rock face. So we're kind of transitioning right now. But for the most part, it's shady, and I'm not complaining. Finally cooled off quite a bit. Here's a nice straightaway here. Look at this. Wow. Actually, open up here a little bit. Oh, spoke too soon. A little soft and squirrely there. There we go. Yeah, if I was to come with no rain for about a week, I'd be able to go a bit quicker on this trail. Oh, there's a bike right here. Did we just find a go-kart? Yeah, it's one of those pedal carts. It says Netcar, N-E-T-T-C-A-R. A little pedal car like a go-kart. See a fire truck down there. There's something rather disturbing. It looks like a dummy with no face on it. And he's wearing like a tuxedo. What the heck is that? I don't know. Bunch of trash as well, but somebody dumped a Hot Wheels bicycle and a Netcar pedal car. Well, when you find trash, usually you're not too far from civilization. Not always, but a lot of times that's the case. So we must be not too far away from homes or an area that makes this really accessible to vehicles or people. Kind of close back in again, and there's bugs and everything around here. Jeez. I sprayed too before I left. So I bounced off the camera and everything. All right, things are changing here. So there's a cleared off area, but we're going downhill now, closer to the tracks. Okay, the guardrail ends here. There's a gate here, but it's open. Oh, the bugs are horrible here. My God. There's a trailer frame on the right-hand side. All right, we have a small crossing here. It's a private crossing. It's gated. That goes to farmland. So we can't go there. There's a bug on the camera. It's like ridiculous. So I know that's an area we want to avoid. But we're on the main road again. Partially paved, mostly dirt and stone. Yeah, this is like a full-fledged road right here. Now we know how they were getting back there to dump stuff. Oh, I do hear something up ahead. But before I show it to you, I want to welcome you to Falls, Pennsylvania. We started in Ransom, Pennsylvania, by Ransom Township, and that connection road brought us all the way to Hoppy Road, to here, to Falls, Pennsylvania. And we're gonna find a spot to pull over because there's something worth checking out. Oh, we're at a bit of a intersection here. We got Falls Road where that truck just came from. And we have Buttermilk Road. Buttermilk may sound familiar because, well, I've shared with you Buttermilk Falls, but not this one. There's numerous Buttermilk Falls in Pennsylvania. The one I showed you the most is probably near Whitehaven and Rockport along the Lehigh Gorge Rail Trail. This is also Buttermilk Falls, and this is, I believe, Buttermilk Creek. And it's moving quite well because, again, we received a lot of rain last night. I think over an inch of rain. So the water's cloudy, murky, moving pretty fast, but it's better than trickling down to nothing. So up above there looks nice and calm and peaceful. I don't know if you could go in this water like, to wade or swim or snorkel. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. But if we cross the other side here, though, you should be able to show you downstream. Oh yeah, look at that. I think I want to try to get over there on those rocks. That is spectacular. I've only seen this briefly by driving by a few times, and it's been a number of years since I've driven past this. So I'm kind of seeing it almost for the very first time. Definitely up close and personal for the first time. Notice there's quite a few holes down here from where they drilled into the bedrock. This is moving really well. This looks like it's man-made. Looks like concrete. That's a lot of water moving pretty fast. You fall over that, it's game over. There's also a pipe here too. Looks like there was something else going on here. This is a cradle for a pipe. Wonder if there was a mill here back in the day, harnessing the water. There's actually a pipe coming out of the center there. A little unexpected bonus, not a planned one, of Buttermilk Falls here in Falls, Pennsylvania. We're not too far from Clark Summit and Tunkhannock. We are going to take a different way back because the way we came is pretty slow and wet, and we already know what's over there. So I'm going to take a different way back towards the area that we started, but I do have one final location that I want to bring you to. And if you enjoyed Buttermilk Falls, well, I'm guaranteeing you're going to enjoy this next and final location. I got a lot of ground to cover, but I'll see you there. Oh, this is not part of the plan, but we have a rain delay. Just started pouring unexpectedly. I actually checked the radar before I left. There's nothing close by, nothing coming until later on this afternoon. And there's actually blue sky over there, but it's dark over there. Rain's coming across. I'm taking shelter under this tree. And I could keep going, but if it comes down harder, it's going to hurt. It's going to be hard to see. I'm not worried about anything getting wet, but I think I'm just gonna wait it out. Hopefully it's a brief passing shower. But rain delay until we reach our next location. It's coming down now. Oh, actually I have a poncho with me, I forgot. Oh, I ripped it. Gotta cover my gear with it. Yeah, this sucks. I'm already wet. Might as well keep going. Thanks, Mother Nature. Guess I was too hot, I spoke too loud. She's cooling me off now. Oh, great. Thunder. Oh my God. This went from bad to worse. What a fiasco. I don't think there's anything on me right now that's not wet. Thankfully, I drove through the storm. I'm soaked. I hear thunder in the distance. It's dark over there. It's somewhat clear ahead, but we're going towards daylight. So gonna keep moving. We're not too far away from our final destination. There's the thunder. So before it starts following me, and before I get turning into a human sponge, I know I don't look the best right now, but what am I gonna do? This is how it happens in real life. So just gonna press on, try to keep the camera lens clear, and see you hopefully before it rains again. Things I do for making a video. Well, it wasn't easy, but we finally made it. We're at our third and final location. This is the one I've been to before, several years ago. Never did a video on it, but since it's roaring today, I figure we stop and check it out. And it's right here along Coxton Road. How's that for a view? Well, that was quite the day, quite an adventure, quite the unusual turn of circumstances. A couple of things just to add really quick is that, firstly, I know the lens is probably not crystal clear right now. Obviously it got wet, and everything that I had on me, including my lens cloth, got wet. And it's starting to rain again. Oh my God. All right, gonna make this really quick. I want to thank you for coming along for this adventure. Hopefully you got to enjoy what I was able to share with you, both the factory, that access road, Buttermilk Falls, and these falls here. Looking forward to your feedback too, as far as the camera mounted position on the handlebars and using this camera overall. Let me know if you prefer that mount or if you rather it here so you get a first person view in the future. But I do have more of these I do want to make in the future, and it's all going to depend on your feedback as to how I go about doing them. But thanks for watching, thanks for coming along. I have another wet ride home, so as always, I'll see you in the next video.